Kenseth, championship leader, has the Fresh from Florida on board.
Winning the chase is going to take wins. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Out throughout the day, it gives you the opportunity to do some side-by-side racing, which is fun and what the drivers like to do.
Yeah, when you can trust somebody to race side-by-side like you can with Junior.
So again, in lap traffic, the lead changes hands, and Dale Jr.
picking up another spot, moving forward with his tires.
You think about somebody like a Keselowski or a Montoya, and you think if they'd have gotten that win that day, how it might have changed the whole story around. The story of their season, or in Montoya's case, you know, the fact that he's now leaving NASCAR race 6 seconds back.
I hate the front riders and they hate me. But at this point around, it's more about the rears. I'm just driving it with the rears right now.
Hey, somebody driving it with the rear. What is that really? What's he really saying there?
Well, things have changed. Whenever the tires are good and you can drive off in the corner, your car will rotate with the front tires, making the car do what you want to. By this time, you've lost a lot of that grip. He's backed the corner up. Now he's driving the car around the corner, getting it pointed with the rear tires, with the throttle. And things that you have to go through in a run, and someone with Matt's experience is making this work.
So basically, he's pointing the front with the rear, by sliding the rear tires with the throttle. Interesting. You don't want to do that.
Oh, 50 miles an hour faster, he ran right up to the fence in front of me. And we see the lane when he's doing 140 and I'm doing 170. Not a big deal. He just did the Keselowski merge, which I don't really care. I mean, that's NASCAR's deal, not mine. But gosh, I'm going that fast down the wall. The backstretch would be nice if he didn't pull up in the middle of the backstretch to block me going that slow. I will say.
Two observations there. One, I think he talked for a full lap around here without letting off the radio button. That's unusual for Matt, I would think. Second, he's talking about that spot right there. When you come up off that apron and blend up into traffic off a pit stop on the backstretch. It's narrow back there.
It's narrow, and it is a courtesy by the driver that's coming out if he wants to stay down below, knowing that you're approaching at a higher speed. But the only requirement by NASCAR is that you not get up until you have pretty sure that wasn't going to happen, though.
Yeah, because Matt has a lot to lose also. But, you know, Jim's doing all he can do.
I see both of them's point, though, you know. I
listen to Matt's radio. There's a brake by a snob right over in this area, and I saw him actually twisting that while he's racing here going down the street. You just have a second to do that, but I saw him adjust it. Trying to change the handling of his car.
You don't use a ton of brake here, but he may have needed to adjust that last time on the longer run. He could have been adjusting back at that point in time. Most time you'll do it as you get back to running, but shouldn't be using that much brake to run good here.
And what I didn't mean to step on you there. What I was going to say is, unlike just that much for the restart. And the bad finish allowance, if you will, in these 10 races. That bar keeps getting nudged up every single year, and you're going to have to win races, and you're going to have to finish not just in the top 10 anymore, as Johnson gets up Fender alongside, but you're going to have to finish in the...
Ratcliffe and I talked about this morning when we discussed Matt's championship run. Why is Matt Kenseth running harder, it seems, at the beginning of these races and getting those bonus points and going for most laps led? Jason says we haven't talked about it much, but I think it's his teammates, Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. They have gotten mad on that program. Where
and the guy that you're competing with for the championship is running within a couple of positions from you. Those bonus points you get for leading laps, leading the most laps, and winning the race, where really the only separation there is in that 1 point per position pack, they add up. Look at those numbers this season.
Yeah, part of this goes to feeling comfortable with your race car and what you can do with it. And they give Matt such a good car week in and week out that this guy that we know, that's kind of that David Pearson type that we've seen for a lot of years.
You're rubbing there, so that's something they can fix back at their the next build.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem if it is a brake duct, but you know, just always something. What can derail you? That's what I always think of. What's the worst possible thing? And a wheel bearing would be the worst possible thing, but it looks like it's okay right now.
What you're saying is, as a crew chief, you're worried about everything.
I do. I worry about everything.
Yeah. Well, Matt Kenseth running in fourth as we check in on Matt?
Yeah, this is probably the worst run of the day for this 20 team and Matt Kenseth. You know, they started right at the front of the race, at the beginning of the race, and they pretty much kept themselves in touch with the leader.
75 laps since the last pit stops. Beginning to see some cars trickle onto the pit lane here under the green flag.
I think Kenseth might be one of those that got their car a little bit on the free side too, and I think that's what happens.
Again, that's provided, that's a normal fuel window. That's not accounting for them stretching the fuel mileage any.
But you can see it's close. I mean, they're talking about in the 390s.
Now, Matt.
Need anything on fuel here? He's short. We're short. Crap. Okay. Dang, I wish I would have known that there. I had 3 in the bank at least. Let me know if you need anything, buddy. If I can run the bottom, I can save you a ton of fuel. And plus we have a little bit there, so just let me know what you need. So I think the rest of these guys are going to do it.
Pretty accommodating driver.
Yeah, I like a driver that can, that can think and drive at the same time.
Got it all going on.
Yeah, try to help the strategy.
The only problem is he's
Top 2 in the championship.
Now, this would be a victory of sorts if Kyle Busch can get by Kenseth, finish in front of him there today. Doesn't look like Kenseth's car really likes this 2-tire setup on it.
Well, we saw that 18 car just being evil earlier in the race, darting around all over the place.
It's got to run up on the high side now.
And you just carried too much speed trying to get to pit road. It was a big penalty. Went from leading all the way back to 8th.
Indeed he did. Jimmy Johnson comes out of the pits first. Kenseth not happy about
I don't really care. That's NASCAR's deal, not mine. But gosh, we want that fast on the wall. The backstretch would be nice if we didn't pull up in the middle of the backstretch and block me going that slow. I will say.
Side holding you tight. Half lane up, outside. Clear.
What the hell is that? I don't mind the merge as early as you want. I was going 30 miles an hour faster and you ran right up to the fence in front of me.
10-4, Rush. 10-4. I'll talk to him here. Nothing out the back.
Slow the car down while it's on the concrete.
Meanwhile, sweeping off a pit road was Jimmy Johnson up in front of Matt Kenseth. And Kenseth not happy about it.
Side holding you tight.